And here we are. Hi, everybody. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We're on Agri-Cultured with Jonael and Jose. And today's show is going to be about chickens. And the title is Worried About Stuffing Your Chickens? Raise Your Own Arsenic-Free Chickens.
Arsenic-free chickens. Yes, sir. Sound tasty. Anyway. Yeah, good morning, people. Thank you for joining us once again. Where we're stemming from this, for the ones that don't that are new to this web show, what we do is that we tackle myths related to agriculture. And one of the myths that I see on social media a lot that repeats itself every so often, it's the myths about things in our food system. In this case, we're going to talk about chickens. And I see a lot of people sharing this information without checking, without investigating further, and that's what we do. We're trying to get the information that is accurate instead of the information that is trendy. So one of the things that I've seen, that I saw, 6 months ago, and now I see it again, is this article that has been shared a lot about. It's titled the FDA announced or admit that it varies from article to article that 70% of chickens contain arsenic or cancer-causing arsenic. That's another spin to it. So we're going to go into this myth, and we're going to see where it leads us. Okay. Everybody's worried about what we eat. As an animal scientist, as a university professor, as an extension educator, I understand that our food system is one of the safest in the world, with the most checks and balances out there. And in the other instance, we have people that have been deceived before by the food industry, by the government, by other entities, and we're not trusting anybody anymore. But I can assure you, there's no arsenic in your chicken. Okay, lots of information that is from the a credible source. Okay,
and I think that's a big thing too, because like you said, the other sources, when we're fooled by other sources, I've seen people share the craziest things on Facebook, man. It's so easy to hit share, and they don't even, they never check. They never check. They just want to be a part of that, I guess, trend,
It's just so easy, and maybe the information that you saw online, it's appropriate for a conversation that you had with somebody, and then you just share it. Or maybe that was a cool article that you thought had something worth sharing. Just because it's interesting to you, it doesn't mean that it's interesting to everybody else. But, it's so easy to communicate with one another now that is becoming a problem.
I got one. I had a friend that was going to I think it was Sarasota, and they actually shared a post about algae blooms that was from 2009. And people were like, "Oh my God, are you safe? Be careful out there. It's bad." It's just like, wow, you don't even check.
But we do have an algae bloom problem right now going on. It is not caused by agriculture, like we've talked about it in this setting before. But we're worried about our food and our environment. But what are you doing about it? And that's the question that I have for you. What are you doing about it? We talk about hormones, we talk about GMOs, we talk about different things, but do you know what they are? And that's the question for you. And as a responsible adult, I have to question everything around me, and I have to find more information instead of just having a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, I don't want that stuff because I read somewhere that it has arsenic. So anyway, we looked at this article, and I have to say article loosely, because it was not based on facts. It was based on something that happened years and years ago, and now we're trying to recycle this fear-based information source in order for people to create mistrust in their food system. So instead of buying the equally nutritious or with equal quality at this product that was cheaper. Now we're buying this more expensive one just because it has a label on it.
It says no GMO.
Or, yes, or antibiotic free or whatever, cage free water.
And it costs you a double.
Anyway, so I like to do stuff like this. But okay, I don't know if you were in chemistry as of recently. I went through chemistry 10-15 years ago.
Don't actually.
Yeah, 45 years ago or something. But the issue is, what is arsenic anyway, and why is it important?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the questions that you should be asking yourself. Arsenic, it's just a metal. It's a naturally occurring metal. It's in the soil. In Florida, it varies from different soil types, and it's an element. Okay, it's in nature. But in high concentrations, it can cause toxicity in humans and animals and fish, etc., etc. There's different types of availability or chemistry bonding, and that's what we're going to try to decipher today with this myth. There's the organic arsenic, which is bound to organic particles, carbon particles. Also, there's the inorganic arsenic, which is the one that is extremely toxic in low doses. So there was this medication that was being used as a feed additive in poultry prior to 2011, called 3-nitro. The chemistry was called roxarsone.
How do you spell that? What's the first? The Nitro?
3-nitro.
3-nitro. That sounds healthy.
Yeah. Well, it was a sort of like an antibiotic. It was a growth regulator that regulated the and your Wikipedia in it. Wikipedia is it's not a good source of information because anybody can go in there and change the information at will. But yeah, that's the correct molecular structure. You have references there. Anyway, so this medication was used as an additive in food for poultry. It was an antimicrobial. So the chicks that were fed this medication didn't get sick. So it promoted, a healthier gut, more gains, and it was just another additive to ensure that the animals had, a safe food system and a safe environment to develop. Anyway, so there was a lot of research on it. The dosage that was given to the animals was not a harmful dosage. Anyway, there was pressure. So the companies that made it as of 2015 stopped its production worldwide. In 2011, it was stopped in the United. It was being stopped. Its use was not being implemented in the poultry industry. So anyway, this all came about from an article that was recycled by MSN that had the title "FDA admits that 70% of U.S. chickens contain arsenic." So if you dig deeper, the MSN article said, finally, exclamation point, the FDA admits that nearly over 70% of U.S. chickens contain cancer-causing arsenic. Okay? And when you read something, its headline, it has the words cancer-causing something, and there's a red flag. In nature, or in physics or chemistry, the dose is very important. Yeah, you can drink water, but did you know that if you drink 2 gallons of water at the at one time, you can intoxicate yourself with
Oh,
water?
Yeah, because everything in excess is bad.
Yes.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's the issue. They were trying with that wording. They were trying to get your attention. They were trying to scare you into questioning the food system. This is from Snopes, and Snopes is a good baseline website. That it's not university. It's not a university website, but they're doing the research. What are you doing,
I
Art?
was gonna grab a chicken. Continue. I'm listening.
Okay. Anyway, while Art is grabbing a chicken, we're going to talk about this. Well, Snopes is a great resource. You can start your search when you're not sure about something with Snopes, and Snopes will give you a lot of good background, and then you can go forward and look at more information. Okay. So in there, the article I just highlighted one section here, the one in yellow. The article said, "I don't know about the rest of you, but lately my poultry purchases at my local market have become more and more a hit and miss situation, with more misses, if I'm being honest. As I bite into my homemade chicken nuggets, or however you say that thing."
Okay.
Not French, so I don't know how to say that. But I'm feeling fancy. I can't help but feel that the chicken tastes weird, stringy, just funny. So a few days ago, when I turned on the tube or TV and saw the news headlines stating that the FDA has finally confirmed that chicken meat sold in U.S. contains arsenic, my head and stomach nearly hit the roof. This cancer-causing toxic chemical, really great wording, okay?
Man.
That in high doses could kill you, is actually being added to chicken feed on purpose, giving store-bought chicken the illusion of healthy coloring, which is not the purpose of this feed additive. Which is not the purpose of this feed additive. Again, shockingly, in the case with more than 70% of all U.S. chickens, that is just awful. That's what the article started saying. There's more to this article, and you can go to Snopes and read more of this information.
What if?
But none of this was true. There was no article aired anywhere in the United States that had this topic.
I just wonder, like, what
that stated this thing that this person was making this story about.
Man,
okay,
to somebody to say something like that, and it's just like, maybe you just overcooked the chicken. Like, it's got nothing to do with anything, and they're blowing it out of proportion.
Or well, I'm going to talk about the meat quality. Okay, this article happened in 2015. This medication was removed in 2011. So there's no way, unless he had a chicken deep in his freezer from 4 years ago, maybe, which is not fresh. Anyway, there was no possible way,
a time machine,
or commonsensical way that he can tag that 2011 FDA release to this 2015 event that he dreamed about, or whatever, or she. So
it still did some damage too, didn't it?
Of course, my mother-in-law was one of the people that shared it. 7 years later. Anyway, so the fact is that meat quality have little to do with feed additives. Okay, with this feed additive, per se.
That kind of article does hurts the industry too, because people read this. It was about 7 years ago, but people read this and stop and buy and consume the chicken.
Yeah.
We don't want that. The people have to read, have to go to the resource available, resource available from the university, or for people that know about the team. You can call the extension office, you can call the Department of Agriculture, USDA, and ask. You don't have to read this article and took decision and and share it and stop to buy and consume chicken.
Which it's a good segue. We have an extension office in every county, at least in Florida. In most of the counties statewide or nationwide, sorry, there's an extension office. Maybe the person that's in the office is not an authority on subject, but there's university specialists that are behind this person, and this person can help you with some of this information. Okay, so going back to meat quality, Jose, you worked in the poultry industry for I don't know how many years.
4 or 5 years. I worked in Puerto Rico with Pollos Picú. It's was because they closed on 2009, I think it was. I was to work as an agronomist, a field agronomist, and I was in charge of the hunting and catching of the chicken every night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had, and the industry had, depending on how many chickens they catch daily, they have a lot of USDA specialists. I would say the inspectors inside of the facilities. They have to check. They have to see the quality of the meat of the chicken before and after comes out of the facility. And the same industry, the same company has a quality control people that does the same in the same way that the USDA does.
Yeah, highly regulated.
So there's two check systems there.
Yeah, and these,
so talking about meat and meat quality, and referencing back to this article. So the facts here are the off flavoring can be caused by a number of factors, including changes in diet, changes in gender, changes in environment. So it's not it's responsible just to blame a food additive, okay, in the chicken. Stringiness is more associated with older animals that enter the food chain. Older chickens are going to be stringier. The muscle mass is going to be more developed, so they're not going to be a stender, okay? And that's where the stringiness is coming from. So this person obviously was not an authority on the subject, okay? Store-bought illusion of healthy coloring and plump appearance, okay? I'm referencing back to the original text. That is mostly marketing based, where you have a packaging and you have illumination in the aisle, in the grocery aisle, in order to catch your attention. The color of the foam packaging or the trays that they put the chickens in or the chicken parts in will give the appearance of something different than what you have. And
the film that is on the top too. The film that
they have a foil that is shiny or the more opaque, and that will give you a different appearance. But that doesn't have anything to do with quality. The store-bought illusion. So it's just marketing. They are when the poultry leaves the slaughter plant and it's pre-packaged. That all has to have control points. I don't know how many people you know that have been poisoned with chicken.
Like food poisoning?
Not a whole lot, right?
I've had.
If you eat it raw, you're going to have food poisoning.
You have to cook it.
But if you cook it all the way, you're not going to have that problem.
I've had food poisoning from undercooked chicken, and that was terrible. But that was just because they cooked it. It was the temperature was too high, so it was charred on the outside, and they thought it was cooked on the inside. And I had a couple drinks before I ate it, so I didn't pay attention. So it was bad. It was bad. For 2 days, I was vomiting. Yeah. So raw chicken. I don't eat chicken on the bone anymore because of that. I'm scarred.
Okay. It's like me and pineapple, but that's another story for another day.
Okay. Got to hear that sometime.
If you are worried about hormones, if you're worried about arsenic, if you're worried about, food additives in your that go through the chicken that you're buying in the grocery store. There's an alternative for you. There's several of them. You can either stop buying meat, or you can raise your own chickens. Okay, if you're going to go vegetarian, we can talk about it in another show with a dietitian and all that good stuff. And we need to invite Carla. She was pretty good. Maybe one day we're gonna have her here. Anyway, you can raise your own, and we can help you troubleshoot the issues, the situations that you have when you're raising your own chickens. Okay, that's one of the things that we like to do.
We have several on the year. We have several workshops that we can have that themes.
Yeah, and if you want to get into backyard raising chickens or the business of selling eggs and stuff like that, we can certainly help as well. In every state, the regulations are going to be different. In every community, the regulations are going to be different as well. So better check with your zoning department, and if you're living in one of those communities that has deed restrictions, you have to check your deed restrictions. We can talk about this thing a little further. Where do we suggest you start? I had a meeting yesterday. There were 17 farmers there, and they were all Hispanic farmers. So the access of information is kind of hard. And they were talking. One of them was talking to me about his problems when he went to the auction and he bought some chickens, some grown chickens, and he took them home. And after that, all his chickens at home died. That's a normal situation. So if you are going to go into a backyard flock, you can start by buying a day-old chicks, or go into a fertilized egg and get an incubator and get your kids involved.
You can go all, or you can talk with the people in your county that maybe have some of the farms have fertilizers, and you can buy the incubator, or you can do one.
Yeah, he's got plans for that.
Oh, that was here's a.
But if it was me, I would go to a feed store and I would check when they were gonna have some chicks. Some feed stores carry chicks year round. Okay, some of the bigger ones, the Walmart type, feed stores. The local feed stores usually have them around spring. So that's an option. That'd be probably the safest option, just to buy the chicks. The old chicks, they are hatched somewhere north, and when they hatch, they put them in a box, they ship them overnight, and by the next day they're in your feed store.
Overnight.
Okay.
Amazon Prime shipping chickens. All right. Quick question for you.
I don't know if Amazon has chickens. I don't think so. They do have plants though.
Now, whenever somebody
there's different hatcheries, and they don't vaccinate their chicks, but they do to have a guarantee on them.
Hey, a question for you here. Now, whenever somebody goes to any extension office to ask for information for help for all of this, how does that work? Do they charge them, or?
This is 100% free. If we're doing a program and we're incurring in materials and feeding you, there's going to be a charge for a workshop deal for feeding you, basically, because we don't, our services, consultation based, are going to be free of charge. We can do farm visits, we can do one-on-one visits. So that's what we do. This is your tax dollars at work. If we are doing a program where we're going to have to pay for somebody's travel, that we're going to have to invest in equipment, then we in UF we charge a little bit of money. It's not a whole lot. I got a program coming up October 12th, and I will charge $25-$30 a person, but it's a day-long program, okay, where you get fed a really good hot lunch, and you get some good information on paper, right? You get demonstrations, you get refreshments. So that's why I have to charge.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, man. And I mean, plus you're paying for your food, so yeah.
You have a video on breeds there somewhere. So we're going to talk a little bit about breeds.
Important, Jonah.
Yeah.
In this office in Hardy County, like we both speak Spanish. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't speak English, si no habla inglés, podemos ayudarlo. We can help you. Okay. We can help you in Spanish too.
He just wanted to speak Spanish today.
All right, let me.
So the backyard chicken breeds.
Okay,
anyway,
this video.
Want to select a nice breed. There's different breeds that are better than others. The white eggs that you buy on the grocery store that are pretty inexpensive. Those are coming in from a commercial type layer hen called white leghorn. Those are not the best chickens to have as your backyard flock. Okay. And by the way, the shell coloration does not have anything to do with nutrition.
Yeah.
And so that's very important. We recommend that you get a dual purpose animal, which is something that would lay eggs and would be as well a good meat producer or a decent meat producer. You're not going to get...
Well, you have to know, if you have all hens and you are going to consume that all hen, it's going to be a little bit hard.
It's going to be stringy. Okay.
Stringy, that's the correct word. Thank you.
So it's not going to be the same pace or the same broiler. Yeah, or the same feel as your broiler 4-month-old chicken that you buy in the grocery store. That's very important for us to have set here. We raise some broilers here, and we compare them to a regular backyard laying hen breed. And in 6 weeks they were ready for slaughter. 6 weeks.
We have several broilers, and we waited every week, and when they had like 38 days to 40 days, they were 3.5 pounds already. They were ready to slaughter, to eat.
So a month old, they were 3 pounds.
Yeah. And we bought the feed from a local.
Yeah, we're not getting it from any shady company.
We didn't put hormones and everything like that people think about it. That type of chicken raise and have a weight because they came from a genetic selection in the past. They did that, and that's why from 38 days to 42 days they become like 3.5 to 4 pounds. Okay, it's only by genetics.
Yeah, so no, there's no hormones in your chickens, and if there are hormones in your chickens, if you're cooking your chickens, those hormones, which are proteins, are going to be subject to heat, and they're going to lose their structure, so their effect is not going to happen on you. So you're not going to grow big breasts off of eating, chicken wings. Okay.
Remember always that if you bought the chicken from the supermarket, they have the USDA inspection, and they do that inspection on every lot.
Yeah, every shipment.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's important. The other thing that I've heard a lot is that chicken, that hormone deal. It just doesn't happen. It wouldn't be feasible for a poultry producer to add hormones to their chickens, just because they would have to be injecting hormones in chickens every day. And you have a barn with 36,000 chickens.
Who does that?
And it's not real.
Okay? Job postings for chicken injectors ever. Yeah, that's a lot of needles.
Yeah, hormone manager.
Needles. All right. Let me just Google that real quick. Let's do that just to see, because this is part of the problem whenever people Google. So I wanted to do an example of that. So I'm gonna type in chickens. What
the poultry receive if they on the hatchery, vaccine. It's the first and the only thing that they receive. And I think they're right now is changing to put the vaccine in the water. You know, it's like that.
I typed in, are chickens injected with hormones? All right, let's see. Why farmers inject hormones in beef but not chicken? Chickens do not receive growth hormones. Farm-raised chickens, answers, that's good. It seems like there are, there's a lot more, good information.
Positives and negatives.
Good information.
How drugs pumped into supermarket chickens pose a terrifying threat.
Go.
For that one?
How drug pump into supermarket. Oh my God.
Oh goodness, that just sounds terrible. We might look at that one. The truth about hormone-free chickens. Truth about agriculture. There's some good stuff on here. I'm surprised. Like usually it's all negative.
And Daily Mail, you have to look at that address. Daily Mail is a prank source
and
website.
Somebody will share this. Somebody will share this.
Oh, wear them if they were ready. yeah, that's happening, of course.
Lord.
So if you're worried about stuff like this, you can your own. And if you're looking for a good base chicken, you can go with a Plymouth Rock, you can go with a brown sex link, or a black sex link, or a red sex link, or a Rhode Island red. Those are some good based genetics that would do well here in Florida. They would produce a lot of eggs. I have some chickens at home that are Arabanas, and they will lay blue eggs. Okay, if you want that novelty, you can do that. There's some chickens that have the ability to lay maroon eggs, or brown eggs, dark brown eggs, and those are cuckoo marans. Okay, yes, so I apologize for the lack of companion. I guess Jose had to leave abruptly, but everything's fine. Anyway, so we were talking about breeds. When it comes to poultry breeds, we can go and select the breed that we want. We can, from a catalog or online source or a feed store or whatever, a service. There's several breeds that are good for meat, and they're just meat breeds. We have a picture in the background here of several Cornish cross chicks that we purchased from the store. We paired them with other assorted chicks from backyard breeds that are dual purpose. And these guys really put on some weight pretty quickly. In about a month, from that picture that you saw to this one, that chick is about 2 pounds, 2 pounds and 12. So he was probably 3 weeks old. Wow. In 3 weeks, from hatching to 2 pounds, it's crazy. Okay. So the Cornish cross are designed to be harvested either at 4 pounds or 7 pounds, depending on the product that you want. They are a mix of Cornish hen, which is known for a large breast, and a Plymouth Rock, which are known for a wide body frame. So that's how we ended up with these cross lines that are now being selected for growth, for productivity, and for conformation, for basically what people wanted to eat, market trends. So you out there that are consuming chicken, that prefer a chicken wing or a chicken breast or chicken thigh, you are the target audience of these chickens that we produce. Anyway. Those Cornish cross lines that you buy in the grocery store, but you can also buy some of these lines from the catalog source, and you can grow them out, and you can have fried chicken, tender meat in a pretty reasonable time. 3 weeks, a month and a half. That's crazy. You can have your chicken then. They don't move that much. What you're seeing here in this video clip, those are ranging animals, probably layers. There's another meat breed that is a red color breed, which is the Red Rangers. They're pretty high growing as well, fast growing as well, and they do reach 6.5 pounds in about 80 days, so they're pretty efficient as well. And they lack to forage. They lack a range more than a Cornish cross. Cornish cross are just going to stay by the earth eat all day until you turn on the lights.
So it's just growing. And again, as producers, they want them as healthy as possible.
Yeah. That's why they put them in the chicken house. They are susceptible to a lot of diseases, predators, etc. So that's why the chicken houses have so strict biosecurity measures, and that's extremely important to understand because we have a lot of this, like I said before in other videos, we have a lot of this anti-animal agriculture folks that are making a big deal out of biosecurity measures to ensure that our products, our chickens, are maintained in a safe environment. The fact that we cannot tour these facilities is just for the sake of the wholesomeness of the product. The more it closer to people, the more bacteria, viruses, and stuff like that they can potentially acquire.
Yeah. It's a simple concept.
Yeah, it's just
well, if you look at the post and everything they make, there's like, no, just because they're doing experiments or some craziness, or they're injecting these things every other day with the needle because we can pay somebody to do that because that's not impossible. No, yada. So yeah, and that's the mindset some people have. They think it's just this conspiracy, but it's just like it's common sense. No, we don't need you guys, bringing germs and bacteria because we're trying to do something that's safe for you to eat. Not for them, but
Yeah, and if they're worried about animal agriculture, a lot of these groups they actually donate a lot to animal services or shelters or anything like that. So you have to look at where you're putting your money if they're asking for money. Speaking of security and biosecurity and all this stuff, these guys are prey. Okay, the food that we produce, they are prey. They are birds, and a lot of animals out there want to eat them. So that's one of the keys. If you're having a backyard flock, you have to ensure that those animals are secure. What I do at home is that I have a electric fence around my chickens, around my chicken coop. And the electric fence is enough to keep predators away. A couple weeks ago, I forgot to turn it on. After a week of it being off, I lost 3 chickens. Just because I forgot that it wasn't turned on. So the deterrence factor of that electricity, that electrical fencing, it's enough to make the animals be confined to the safe space, but also to make the predators stay away. I'm suspecting that it was a bobcat or anything or something like that. Coyotes, brave dogs. Foxes, eagles, owls, they're all predators and they're looking for an easy meal. And this guy don't have the ability to fly, and defend for themselves. And that brings me to another subject, which is annoying in my script, is the fact that people want to have roosters. And roosters are not necessary if you're not hatching chicks. Okay, the hens. I'm talking about chickens now. Specifically, our hens that are dual purpose or backyard hens, they don't need a rooster to be stimulated to lay eggs. Other poultry like quail, they do.
Okay, so how would you get a chicken to lay eggs without a rooster then? How do they do that? Just insemination, like artificial?
No, they ovulate every day, and that's what you're consuming, an ovule, an egg. So they do it on their own when they're mature enough. They just start producing eggs. If they have enough, what are you watching? What are you doing here? Oh, that's
commercial.
If enough lighting, the poultry are going to start laying eggs, okay, on their own. They're light sensitive, so that's important that you provide light for them to get the cue that it's egg laying time. If you don't provide enough light, what they're going to do is that they're going to go into molting. They lose their feathers. They take a vacation from laying eggs, and that's one of the major issues with people that are not experienced in keeping poultry. Their hens stop laying around this time, even the fall, November. The hens, they just go on vacation. So it's more economical, according to my less than 400 animals to go and buy your eggs from the supermarket, because it's going to cost you, for me, a family of 5 with the, we don't have a family of 5, but an average family of 5 will need 3 hens, 3 to 6 hens to have enough eggs for everybody every day. And keeping those animals is going to cost you about $20 more than actually buying eggs from the supermarket.
Okay, so you need a certain amount to where it becomes profitable. Well, affordable, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's not So if you're just in it for teaching your child responsibility, or for having fun, or just to keep chickens, just keep in mind that you're not going to make any money, and you're going to be giving eggs away more often than what you should, just because you're going to have an overabundance of them. But they're costing you more to produce and to keep up with those chickens than actually having to buy them from the supermarket.
Gotcha. So it's effort over cost kind of thing.
Yes. And if you're keeping turkeys and chickens, chickens are going to be transmitting certain diseases to turkeys which are more delicate. And that's not a good idea either. If you're keeping turkeys, keep them separate, keep their water, food sources separate and clean, and without any contact from chickens, because they do get sick. One of the things that we started, messing around with was quail. Japanese quail. They're called also Arsenic quail. And we started, doing hatching egg with our incubator. Those are 1 month ago. Our first batch, I think it was. Those things are amazing. Okay, they do lay some teeny tiny eggs. Aside from having chickens in the backyard, especially if if you just want something to keep you entertained, the Japanese quail, they're pretty cool. Those in the background that you see, those are 2-week-old quails that we actually had it off his hatch. The beautiful thing about Japanese quail is that they hatching to laying and start laying eggs, they take 6 weeks. So at 6 weeks they fully mature, okay, start laying eggs. That's pretty awesome. Those are coternics. The scientific name is coternics, which are originated from Asia, and they can produce for up to a year. And you can get eggs, and you can get meat. You're not going to have a whole lot of meat in there, but you can have some nice poultry. They differ from chickens, but they will require a male to be stimulated to producing eggs. Okay, they also will require about 14 to 16 hours of egg lays in order for them to be encouraged to lay eggs. If you don't want eggs and you want to raise them for meat, you can then provide them with about 8 hours of daylight, and they won't produce eggs, and they're going to be heavier, and that's how you produce meat out of them.
Gotcha.
The part of it is that they lay an egg every day, and that's about, the egg weighs about 8% of the body. Okay, so an adult is going to be about 100 to 103 grams in weight, and they do produce an egg that's about 10 grams. Okay, compare that to human size. Okay, if I weigh 190 pounds today, it would be like me laying an egg 15 pounds in weight, okay, every day. That's amazing, okay? I think those animals are very cool.
Yikes.
So, you can get a lot of production out of these guys. The eggs are pretty small. I don't know if you have a picture of the eggs, so people can see them. Guys in the background, like I said, they're 2 weeks old, and they're fully feathered. Those are hatchlings. They recently that came out of the eggs, and you can see that the eggs they're very small, and they have little spots. Okay, and we use them for embryology, which is a curriculum that we use for 4-Hers, youth development. We go to schools, we set up the incubator there, and we have the kids learn about embryology. We go to the schools and we candle the egg so they can see the baby way of developing inside the egg before they hatch. So that's a pretty cool project that we have Jose and Miss Marisa, take the schools, and he promotes 4-H, he promotes science and curiosity. Those right there are the same ones that you saw in the previous video. After hatched, those are maybe 1 day old.
Oh, little guys.
They're pretty lively. They're beautiful.
Yeah, and you said something earlier.
And they can fit in your hand.
They were hard to you, right? Something like that.
Oh yeah. They're very, very cool animals. They are very resistant to mistreatment, but grow fast, and that's the nice part of it. That in 6 weeks you have a full adult producing for you, and they can fit in a small cage. You can have 5 or 6 of them with a male, and you're gonna have a handful of eggs. But like I said, lighting is important in order for them to be stimulated in production. And birds don't react like us to the environment. They're more primitive in the way that they react. They're signaled naturally signaled by the amount of daylight, so that triggers their ability to produce or reproduce. That happens also in cows and in goats and sheep and other animals, that they're sensitive to day length at some point, and that affects their reproduction. So that's why a lot of people come to the office with questions. That's what we answer questions. That's why I got all this crazy stuff in my head regarding science and agriculture and useless facts.
Well, not so useless. I'm sure it's extremely useful. That's why I pay you to educate others, of course. Come on now.
Yeah, but the problem is that I annoy myself. But the issue with the average person that didn't go to the university or poultry science class, they have this animal that we're producing, and then when it comes fall, chickens, they again need extra lighting. That doesn't happen. They start getting short like they are today, or from now on. After September 21st, the daylight hours shortening. So you're gonna have to supplement. If you don't supplement lighting, supplementing a total of 14 to 16 hours of daylight, or total light, I would say, not daylight, but total light is what they need. These animals need that light. If they don't have it, they will just stop laying. They go into the molting. They replenish their reserves, and then they just take a vacation from laying. Okay. If you don't want that to happen, because you have some young hardy stock of chickens or quail or whatever, you can supplement with a daylight wavelength lighting. You can do fluorescent lighting, LED lighting that produces that white to yellow light, and you put that in the chicken coop with a timer. So every day from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. they have that supplemental light, and you can do that. It triggers their brain, and that brain kickstarts or continues their reproductive cycle.
So the light triggers
basically.
that then. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes, sir. So we have light sensors. It happens to people in the wintertime in areas that are less sunny than Florida. Sorry, guys. And colder and grayer. People get usually they get depressed when there's shorter days, and that's that same mechanism, basically, that same receptor that we have that senses different seasons.
All right.
So anyway, that happens, and that's a common question. Why do they stop laying? Because they don't have enough day length.
or you're feeding them something that it's lacking, a nutrition. So those are the two most common factors there. Or you have a bunch of roosters and you didn't know about it. I'm just
How much light do they need daily?
Daily from 14 to 16 hours of light.
Oh yeah, Florida's a good place then.
Yeah, for the most part. I have a timer at home that I put in my chicken coop, and it turns on around 5 a.m. and around 7 a.m. it turns off, and then it comes up again around 5 p.m. and then it goes off around 8. So they have a bunch of daylight, and I don't have a molting problem. I don't have chickens going out of business or anything. I did last year when I didn't have that supplemental light.
Live and learn then.
Yeah, another issue that we have is biosecurity. A lot of people want older animals that lay eggs right away, and they go into this animal swaps, or they buy their neighbor's chickens. And what you're doing, if you have an existing colony, is that you're going to introduce these adult animals that are unvaccinated, and your colony is probably unvaccinated as well.
Gotcha.
And you're going to stress the animals. All of them are going to get stressed. They're going to have a social stress because there's new animals there. They're going to compete for food, for resources. They're going to exert a social pressure on each other, and that's how you end up with an infection.
Gotcha. So cross contamination, basically.
It's a stress-induced issue.
Oh, okay. Psychological.
It's more of a psychological letdown, and then the animals that are an outside flock will come in and carry something else, and everybody gets sick, type of deal.
Gotcha.
One of the most common ones is infectious coryza, and it's a disease that manifests itself with like a cold. A lot of mucus. You can hear the lungs that are congested. You can see that their eyes will swell, and the animals will die.
Oh wow!
So if you want to buy adult chickens, don't do it. Okay, unless they're vaccinated and yours are vaccinated as well.
See, I think that's a big thing there, because that's what people do. They get like, I want some chickens, so I need chickens, so they get the chickens that are ready to lay. But I mean, it's better if you raise them, because then that you know what you got.
Yeah, and it's a common. The recommendation is that you replace the older hens every 2 years. So you get new hatchlings every 2 years, and that way you raise them up, in a consistent way, and you're not buying an adult chicken from somebody else. Okay, I don't know if you understand where I'm going. The other issue is regarding biosecurity is the fact that other people may be carrying diseases in their clothing. If you have a chicken yard and you have a person that that also has chickens, just try to avoid too much human contact. Our shoes will carry stuff that was not in other people's property, and that can be dangerous to the animals. They can get sick. Okay. So if you have a foot bath or something to cover the feet of visitors when they go to the chicken yard or they interact with your chickens, that would be great. Because we can be transmitters. The other thing would be with Newcastle, with some of these avian flus that we have occasionally around migration time. Avoid having chickens too close to water bodies where they can interact with waterfowl, with ducks and migratory birds, because they can also carry diseases that can affect their flock.
Gotcha. And now, isn't that the situation also with mad cow disease? some sort of interaction with the animals?
No. That's the issue with mad cow disease is genetic here.
It was something else.
Or it was a feed situation where they were feeding animal parts, ruminant byproducts from slaughter to cows and goats and sheep.
Okay, I remember. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's another show, so you can go back
in the catalog. We got that. It's in the bag.
Anyway, so some of the common issues that we deal with people troubleshooting chickens is regarding biosecurity and the loss of lay. Occasionally we'll have somebody that comes to the office and asks, how can I know how old these eggs are? And they don't have an expiration date on them. So it's really simple. You can take a flashlight and you can shine light through, and you're going to see an air sac on the top of the egg, on the round part of the egg. The bigger the air sac, the older the egg is going to be. So you can do that in a dark room. Or if you're lazy, you can just put the egg in water, and if it floats, that means that it's got the air sac is big, and if it doesn't float, then what are you doing in there? That looks cool.
I'm in the basket with the chicken.
If the egg doesn't float, then that means that it's a fresh egg that has a small air sac.
Yeah. And
if you do that, do it with the eggs that you're planning to eat right away, because eggs are porous, so that water can go through the eggshell and carry bacteria and degrade the egg, and the egg's not going to be good for as long.
Gotcha.
That's it was dry.
And that was called candling, right? Candling.
Well, the candling is when you flash the light through the egg.
Yeah. Right.
And do it in a room that is completely dark. I think we got some. I can share you some picture of how we candle. Or we can do a demonstration for another day.
It's
really cool. Anyway, so I think that's all I got on poultry. What we're doing is that we're trying to bypass internet connectivity problems. That's why I was in one camera, and now I'm here standing in front of my window, trying to get signal from my iPhone.
It's all right. We're not going to let technology win today. We got this.
No. This is the third strike for today.
It's been a long day.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so if you have any poultry questions, contact your extension office. We can help you there.
Let me get that up.
The other thing that you can do, don't go to YouTube and try to YouTube stuff, because people on YouTube, most of them are hobby people and they don't have a background. Go to university peer-reviewed documents. And if you cannot find them, you can also call the extension office again. If you have any topics that you want us to talk about in the future, you can go to our page and you can message us or whatever. This is our page in the background, IFAS extension, Hardy County. Just like us and follow us. We're in Florida, and you may be in Nebraska or something like that, but maybe the information that we share is useful.
Yeah. This is useful for everybody. It's kind of we're fighting this, and again, this show is about helping people see how important agriculture is and the dangers of what social media does sometimes. I mean, we're using social media obviously, but we're trying to use facts.
We're fighting fire with fire.
Yeah. That's right. It's true, and people don't even realize how important ag is. It's that it's that separation that we have. What is it? What is the number of actual producers to the population?
2%.
2%.
Yeah.
Of the freaking. That's crazy.
Don't say bad words, okay?
freaking out. What else we got here? So this is what we do for the show and for you guys, and you can call Jonael, any of the extension agencies offices, and they can help you out. And again, it's free, guys. If you're looking to learn something based upon facts and science, they've done it all before. Trial and error. This is what they do. So these are the people you want to.
And it's not a perfect system, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to reach you. If this was beneficial, we're trying to get you to share, the information that we provide. It's got to be long, and we should, invest in 3-minute clips or something so it gets shared a lot. But maybe there was something that you liked, and we can probably do a 3-minute clip on something. But if you don't tell us what your needs are, then we're not going to know.
Yeah, we can do like a little quick answer. Hey, ask Jonael. Bam, there's the 3-minute clip. That's a good idea. We should do that. If anybody has any ideas or any questions, let us know and we'll get that rolling. It'll be funny, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Jonael's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, this is our number, 863-773-2164, and we're here, to help and with university peer-reviewed, science-based information, not something that we found somewhere. If we don't know, something, we have a bunch of people at the university that can help us figure stuff out. And connections.
Yeah,
good connections. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope everybody had fun today. We have a lot more to offer. So let us know what you need, and we'll get you that information. Yeah. And thank you, Art, for this and for troubleshooting with me today.
Yeah, it was good to see you guys. You and Jose. Tell Jose I said hello, and we appreciate you guys coming on here, and we'll keep doing this, like I said.
All right. You have a good one, okay?
All right. Everybody have a safe weekend.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.